AstroBot was a game that has been on my radar for such a long time. It is super interesting to see Sony dive into the 3D platforming genre like they did here, especially nowadays, man. It's something that is pretty much unheard of from them because they're kind of the forefront of, those movie style games, those big open world narrative games. They're on the forefront of that. So to see a project like AstroBot, it is really interesting. AstroBot was met with a lot of critical acclaim by journalists and people everywhere, and today's video I kind of wanted to dissect that and dive into that and give my review about one week later after launch, just because I wanted to kind of experience the full thing to get an idea of what this game actually is. And I feel like a lot of the hype has gone down a little bit. There's still a lot of hype around the game, but I want to be honest and critique this game where it needs to be critiqued and praise it where it needs to be praised. So let's go ahead and get into it. Real quick, before we get into the review, I kind of just want to say something real quick. So a lot of you guys ask me in the comments of these reviews, why am I dropping reviews a week after a game comes out? Why am I not posting it the day of, blah, blah, blah. And, there's a couple reasons. The first reason is I want to experience the full game, like I just said before. I think it's kind of stupid to drop like a full formulated score on a game before it's even come out. I mean, if you're someone like IGN or whatever like that, that's fine. Like if you're a journalist, that's fine. But I just don't really get on board with content creators getting review copies and them formulating full thoughts on a game before it even releases, because usually the hive mind of people will decide if the game is good before it even drops. You know what I mean? Like that's really my whole take. That's why I like releasing reviews like a week after the game has come out, so I can actually experience it and play it for myself and have my own opinion. And I also hope that adds some authenticity to these videos as well, because I'm just a dude who loves video games. Okay, I'm not a video game journalist or anything like that. And if I ever am fortunate enough to get put into a situation where I can do something like get review copies for new games coming out, I still plan to keep it kind of the same way I have it right now, because I really I think that it relates to the consumer better, and I really do think that it can help you guys form a better opinion on a game. Maybe it'll help you decide if you want to purchase it or not, something like that. So I just think it adds authenticity. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this AstroBot review. So getting into it here, I think what is making AstroBot so special for basically everyone out there who's enjoying it is it's seriously one big love letter to PlayStation fans. Okay, me personally, man, I have grown up alongside the PlayStation. Okay, like literally when I was like 2 to 3 years old, I was playing the PlayStation 1, and then PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. Like I have literally grown up with PlayStation. I've been there for basically all of it, man. This game, it's literally just all of that, like all of PlayStation combined into one, and it also caters to people who enjoy the new gen stuff as well. Like the next gen capabilities here are insane. Like I've really never seen a PlayStation 5 game utilized like this, man. Like it utilizes next gen to the max, to be honest. Like it's great. It's so good. There's things that I didn't even know the DualShock 5 could even do until I played this. Like it's unreal. I want to say this real quick too. I have seen on some corners of the internet people just saying like, oh, AstroBot is just fan service and that's, blah, 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 fan service garbage, whatever. Dude, no. Okay, AstroBot as a video game without all the fan service and stuff is incredible still, okay? And it caters to all ages. And I'm going to use the word simple here as a compliment. It is simple in the best way. You can seriously be any age and you can enjoy the crap out of this thing. This game it's incredible gameplay wise. It's so much fun. And I kind of said this at the beginning of the video, but to see this game from Sony in 2024 is kind of mind-blowing to me, because I feel like a lot of AAA developers, like I love a lot of the newer next-gen games, okay? I love games like Elden Ring, I love Ragnarok, I love Souls-like games, okay? But I do feel like that a lot of AAA developers have just forgotten what makes video games, and that's fun. And that's literally all AstroBot. That's all the developers for AstroBot focused on here. They just focused on making a fun game. It doesn't have to have a crazy narrative. It doesn't have to have, insane complex mechanics like some Souls-like games. It doesn't have to be a massive open world game. It's literally just fun. And that is what I feel like a lot of developers nowadays have lost touch with. Actually, I wouldn't even say developers. I would say publishing studios, AAA publishing studios, because the developers, I feel like, want to make games like this, and that's where I think Sony really just gave the full control to the developers in this situation, right? Like, this is what happens when you give creative control to the developing team. You say, here guys, we'll publish a game. You just make it and you just go crazy. And no matter, as long as it's, good and fun, we'll put it out. That's literally what AstroBot is. And that is why it's being met with so much critical acclaim, okay? And I do think that this is a potential game of the year candidate. I'm not gonna lie, this is my game of the year. I don't care what comes out from here. I think AstroBot is game of the year. And it's really important that this wins game of the year, in my opinion, for a couple reasons. If AstroBot wins game of the year, we obviously know that video game companies love to follow trends, okay? And if AstroBot wins game of the year, it's going to make a massive statement in the industry. And it's going to be really telling of, what consumers want. We're tired. We are so tired of FPS hero shooters, of live service games, which I think it's funny that this game came out like a week after Concord. I'm pretty sure they shut down Concord the day this game released. I think that's pretty crazy. But we're tired of unpolished open world games. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft. What is Star Wars Outlaws? We're tired of it, man. We're so sick and tired of it. And I'm going to use Ubisoft as an example, right? If the Ubisoft executives over there, if they had 2 brain cells, after, if I'm a Ubisoft executive, after I release Star Wars Outlaws and then I see AstroBot win Game of the Year, I'm going to return to making something like Rayman Legends, or, some other beloved titles. They did release the Prince of Persia game that was pretty good, but my main point here is it would make a statement to the gaming industry. It just would, because I don't think a 3D platformer has won Game of the Year like ever. I don't think it's ever won. I could be wrong, but even if there has been a 3D platformer that has won Game of the Year, I don't think that there's been a 3D platform that has had this much critical acclaim since like Mario Odyssey. So like it's a big deal for video game fans everywhere, okay? And like no matter what type of video game you like, AstroBot winning Game of the Year is a really good thing for the industry, right? It's like Baldur's Gate 3, okay? Although these two games are super different, Baldur's Gate 3 made a statement to the industry. I tried getting into Baldur's Gate 3, I couldn't, but I can still appreciate it. And it definitely made a lot of AAA developers turn their head and reconsider decisions. So yeah, that's why I think this game should win Game of the Year. Overall, I just think it would be super important for the gaming community and just gamers everywhere, man. It would be so good to see this win Game of the Year. And I also want to say this too, because I know there will be a lot of people in the comments, well, Nintendo's been making these types of games for forever. Yeah, I know Nintendo has been making 3D platforms, like they've been killing it, right? Like they've been killing it in that genre. It's also really refreshing to see another company that's not Nintendo make this type of game. Okay, like I love Nintendo, I love Mario Odyssey, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like AstroBot's better than Nintendo. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I just think it's refreshing to see someone else besides Nintendo doing it. Just because I like these types of games, and I love when developers are given freedom to create whatever they want. That's really just it. And listen, man, overall, after I consider everything I just said, like I'm sitting here, I'm not gonna lie, AstroBot might actually be the closest thing to a perfect video game. Like it literally is low-key a perfect video game. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it's that good. It's just flawless. I'm sorry. I don't want to glaze, but it's flawless, dude. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have never thought that playing any sort of game, okay? I can always find some sort of flaw or some sort of problem with a video game, and I will talk about it and I'll be upfront about it, even if the game is amazing. But dude, I'm not gonna lie, this is low-key a perfect video game. Like this is a solid 10 out of 10. Like at minimum, bro, it's like a 15 out of 10. All right. Now the one thing I want to talk about, okay, this is basically the one concern I've seen from people online, and it's not really a popular opinion. A lot of people will get hate for saying this, okay? I don't agree with it, but I do want to talk about it. A lot of people are upset that the game is only 15 hours long, okay? And that, like some of you guys may have seen that. Some of you guys may feel like that. You're sitting here thinking, okay, $60 for 15 hours. I don't know. Let me just go ahead and elaborate on that and change your mind. First and foremost, 15 hours is not short by any stretch, okay? Like, if you think 15 hours is short for a playthrough of a video game, I'm sorry, man. You gotta get real. That's like, oh, that's a solid playthrough. It's not anything that's like Red Dead Redemption 2, that's like a 50-hour playthrough. But in my opinion, a full price game doesn't need to be 50 hours in length. And I really am looking for quality of content. A lot of people out here are saying AstroBot isn't really replayable, and I don't agree with that. While AstroBot's not like an open world game, big open world games don't have to be the only games that have replay value. AstroBot holds so much replay value just because of how enjoyable it is, okay? And the developers have come out and said that they're going to add a speedrun mode, for example. That is where a lot of replayability for platformers comes in, right? Like, it's just an enjoyable game with enjoyable mechanics, and there's so much variety with the levels here and like all of that stuff that I will play this game multiple times over just because it's a fun time. If I'm ever stressed out or I get off a long day at work or school or whatever, and I pop Astrobot in and I just play it, even though I've beat it like 6 times, like, it's gonna be just as enjoyable, okay? Look at a game like Contra. A lot of people love Contra. You can beat that game in like 30 minutes, and there's people who literally will beat that game over and over and over just because of how good it is. A game I'm gonna use as an example here is Sekiro. I love Sekiro, and it is a very different game than Astrobot, but Sekiro isn't something like Elden Ring, where it's like massive open world, you have different builds, you just play as one dude, but you can get so good at that game that you can beat it in like one sitting, and it's super satisfying. That is something that I think that's where Astrobot holds a lot of replayability, is beating it over and over. When they add the speedrun mode, I'm definitely going to be going for speedruns because it's just fun. The mechanics of the game are just fun. It holds a lot of replay value in that area, okay? I want to make that clear. And also 15 hours in length is not short by any means, okay? It's 15 hours of quality content, of perfect content. That is insane, dude. That is actually amazing. All in all, and this might be the only video game I ever say this about, Astrobot is a 10 out of 10. It is perfect. It is a flawless video game. I said it. I don't care. It's perfect in every way, shape, and form. And my only complaint and my only criticism to Sony and the developers that made this is, we better see more Astrobot games, all right? We better see. I don't want this to become a one-hit wonder IP for Sony that they just sit on and do nothing with. They need to do more with Astrobot. It's incredible. There's so much potential for them to utilize Astrobot for. Okay, like, this could be the new mascot of PlayStation, and I mean, that's basically what they're going for here. So we better see more of this. We better see more high quality games because it's a blast, and I want more. That's literally it. I just want to see more Astrobot. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this review and your thoughts on Astrobot. Okay, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.